And we're back. We're not back, really. This is the first installment. We're kind of back in the sense that it is myself and it is this handsome gentleman to my side joining me. And so for people who have been frequenting Christ Evangelical Lutheran Church's Facebook page for Avon Lake, Ohio, you have potentially seen myself, hopefully at least once, and potentially the guy next to me in a video a couple years ago. He has agreed to be my first interview for a new little ministry segment I'm doing. And my hope for these interviews in this segment is that you get a chance, people of the congregation where I serve, you get a chance to meet and know a little bit about some other pastors, some people that are my friends that have shaped me and my ministry, and people that I look to help in times of need or for advice. I am joined this first week by Pastor Andrew Gookin. I met him back in seminary back in 2001, so 21 years ago, which sounds crazy when you say it out loud. But 21, our friendship, if you want to call it that, our friendship is old enough to drink, as some people say. So welcome. Thank you for doing this. I have 6 questions for you. Okay, you're on the what's it called? I should get this and put it in the script. What's it called when the Pope sits and is able to deliver a papal bull and say it's like ex cathedra or something like that. I want to say you're on the hot seat or you're on the throne or you're whatever, but I think it's ex cathedra. So you're on the throne. You're before the throne. No, you're on the hot seat. Okay. Question number one, Pastor Andrew, where have you served in ministry? For how long? And where are you currently serving in ministry? So it sounds like a potentially multi-part question. It's one question with potentially a lot of substance.
So let me say this. I'm in the third church that I've served as an ordained minister. I'm going to begin there. I serve Resurrection.
Real quick. Wait, hold on real quick. Did you serve other places as an unordained or not ordained minister?
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. I should have known that. All right. I didn't do any research on this. All right, continue.
I serve Resurrection Lutheran Church in upstate New York, actually Western New York is what they would say, Rochester. I have been here nearly 6 years. Before that, I served 2 other congregations in Michigan. One of them, Christ the King, which was in Lapeer, which is about an hour north of Detroit. It's considered actually a suburb of Detroit now. And then before that, I served in northern Michigan, actually kind of in the middle of the state at Messiah Lutheran Church. That was my first church. I was there 8 years. I was in Lapeer for 3 years.
Okay. In the middle of this, that was Roscommon, was the name of the town?
That was the first one.
Yeah, in Roscommon. Okay. All right. Fantastic. That was the easiest question. They're going to get progressively harder.
Super.
Okay. Yeah. And you did receive the questions in advance? All your answers prepared?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Question number 2. Was there a moment when you knew, yes, I'm called to be a pastor? Was there an actual moment when either a light bulb went off or you had an epiphany, or was it kind of a gradual thing?
So that's a bit of a long answer. I'd never thought about going into ministry at all. It was the furthest thing from my mind. And when I was in between my sophomore and junior year, I believe, in college, I had found this passion for my major, which was religious studies, not just Christianity, but all religious studies, all religions. And I came home, I think, after that year in between, I went to church and my home pastor said, "Have you ever thought about being a minister?" My immediate answer was, "No, that's not for me." He said, I really think that you have the talent to do this and that God may be calling you to some kind of ministry. And I'll be honest, for the next 2 years in college, And actually, through my first year of seminary, I had quite a few doubts. Quite a few doubts. I just, I was thinking, no, this really isn't for me. Not to say that my life has been super challenging, but there's bumps in the road, and that we all have. After the end of my first year at seminary, I had quite a few challenges from both professors and life, etc. The answer to the question is, I don't know there was a specific moment, but I do remember just thinking to myself I can't remember what class it was. It might have actually been church history at 8:00 in the morning, but I was sitting there and I just thought to myself, maybe God is calling me to this. And I think it was somewhat of an epiphany, because I thought back to when I was wrestling with my faith and what my faith meant and my beliefs and what I believed in, both in college and not really in high school, because I fell away from the church. It wasn't a priority. I just kind of had this realization that, maybe there is something here. But I'll be honest, so that would have been 23 years ago. Is that right? Yeah. No, that's not right. 20
No,
years
it's not
ago,
right.
let's say.
About 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, about 20 years ago, I just said, yeah, maybe there's something here. And since then, I do still have my bouts with doubts.
That's actually the name of your podcast, isn't it? Bouts with Doubts.
Bouts with doubts. It could be.
It could be. Yeah. So for you, it wasn't necessarily one moment, but at the same time, even up through seminary, you were thinking okay, so you were but that really shows, for anybody who's watching, that shows either, I'm going to let you pick whoever's watching, there's no judgment, either profound amount of stupidity or a huge leap of faith to go off to seminary, where that is training solely to be a pastor. When you're still kind of going, oof, however, I would say I would lean more towards the leap of faith, because my guess is that for many people, if I ask this question to them, they'll give they might have had a feeling that maybe it's what they were supposed to do, but even throughout seminary, and as you stated, throughout ministry, you might have had asked questions of really, God? Is this really what you want me to do?
Honestly, even now, I'll find myself sometimes just that's my prayer, I guess you could say. It's just really, are you, and sometimes I'll do this because that's kind of what we're the stereotypical thing to do, God's up here somewhere and heaven's there. But I just kind of just shake my head. I'm like, are you really sure this is what you want me to do? Are you sure I'm called to this? And I'll be honest, the thing with that too is I still have these little moments where I don't know how else to describe it, but it's God talking to me saying, and it comes through people, it comes through wherever.
Yeah, you get those moments of affirmation. Yeah,
thank you. Thanks for identifying that. That's what it means.
I pastor-splained it. That's a new phrase I'm coming up with, pastor-splained. I pastor-splained being a pastor to a pastor. So you're welcome, and feel free to use that, but make sure I get credit for it. So kind of segueing into that, you did a really great job by following the question list I gave you. Segueing from what you just talked about of those affirmations, what is I want to stay positive in these interviews. I'm not going to talk about your least favorites or what upsets you. What is your favorite thing about being a pastor?
So it's both my favorite and least favorite.
All right, so you're bringing negativity in, even though
I'm not. I'm not bringing. It's not negative.
It's your answer. I'm just saying
it's not negative.
Mm-hmm. Nobody was going to know, but anyway,
it has to deal with end of life ministry and situations like that. So you go into ministry, or you go in, and in a sense, you're and typically the family's there and someone's dying. It's a favorite because it's so humbling. You are entered into one of the most intimate and painful experiences that people can have. And in the midst of that, you bring this representation of not only God and Christ and the Holy Spirit, but you're just there with the people. Again, I wouldn't call it negative, but I mean, this person is going to die. You're doing end of life ministry.
Right.
So, and that sounds strange. And what's really interesting is that's been my answer for 20 plus years. and it hasn't changed. And it's interesting when someone else is asking that question and I answer that way, and they say, that's not strange at all. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And that's good to hear. That's comforting and humbling to hear.
Yeah, it's affirmation if we're going to keep it on the same.
Yeah, so it appears a theme is developing.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I would say that wouldn't necessarily be my answer, but I completely get what you're saying. And I recently just had a situation where I was with a family. It's in those moments, like I remember leaving their house and feeling like ministry just happened. Like that was actually the embodiment of what I feel like we're called to do. And I don't get that with everything that we do.
Yeah.
But for that, it was like, it was so raw and so just there, so present. Yeah. So I hear you saying that. I like that answer. Do you have I don't know, what question is it? All right. Cause I want to put some graphic, like question 4, but this is 10, but question 4 or something like that up on the screen.
We'll this isn't question 6.
This is 4. It feels like 6 because you're long-winded, but it's actually question number 4. So question number 4, do you have a favorite? Because I'm thinking people probably assume we do. Do you have a favorite Bible verse or Bible story? So like, I'm not going to share what it is because I'm the one hosting this, but I would say I probably have a favorite Bible story more so than a favorite Bible verse. But just curious about you, because as much as we talk and give people a little bit of insight as you're thinking, so you don't have to listen to me. When Andrew and I have known each other for 21 years, give or take, and we don't sit around and ask like, "Hey, what's your favorite Bible verse?" Like I've never in 21 years I've never asked him that question. So it's just kind of interesting for me to add a layer to our relationship. So I stalled as much as I could within reason. Do you have a favorite Bible verse or story?
No.
All right. Question
because
5.
It changes.
Okay.
Depending on where I'm at in life, different stories speak to me differently, which I think is a blessing when you're a pastor and you need to, especially as you're, as we're tied to the lectionary, if we choose to be. I mean, I'm assuming you did. We just preached on the wedding at Cana. And I preached on that a lot. And I had new revelations as I read that. And, right now I don't have a favorite story, but I both love, I don't want to say hate, but I love the Gospel of John because there's just so much in between that he's trying to get across.
Yeah, I agree. Starting out, John was my least favorite. And there are still times when it's my least favorite, but they're like, I agree. There's definitely more layers to it, I feel like, than the other ones to dissect. And
well, yeah. And, and the thing is with John is because my ministry, I did it 20 something years ago as kind of a joke, but it's really been my ministry. It's all about connections. And you look at the Gospel of John and it's the same thing. Everything in John is connected in some way to some story or belief or faith connection to other things in the Bible. John intentionally did this throughout his whole gospel. And that's just wonderful.
That's very, very good.
Thanks.
Okay. The last 2 questions are they're meant to be fun because the other ones weren't. They're meant to be fun.
This is all fun.
Okay. Well, then these are going to be funner. Okay. So maybe I'll get that on the screen. Funner. So the first of the last 2 questions, the funner questions, are this. You and Jesus chilling at a bar, a pub, a place that has spirits, if you will. What drink do you think Jesus orders and why?
Oh, what drink do I think he orders? I think he'd order a mixed drink of some kind. I want to believe that that Jesus would be like, I've always wanted to try this. The thing is, I don't even know what I would order. If I'm with Jesus, I don't even know what I want.
Right. You'd be like, all right, you order first, then you'd get like the go ahead. Because if you're like,
if he orders water, do I have to order water?
Yeah.
But then again,
then he could go that route and pull the old Jesus-aroo. I didn't use that in the sermon, but he pulls a little switch. But that just seems like it would be shady to me because then he's ordering water, but he's not paying for water. because it's free, and then if he changes it to wine, but it's technically wine that he brought. So does he have to pay for it? Like it's not on their menu. I don't know. There's so many questions. Yeah.
You're thinking too much about that.
I did. Well, it's because you put me down that rabbit hole. So you think he'd order some kind of mixed drink? Pick a mixed drink.
You know what? It's interesting you asked this because I just remembered one of the professors.
That's time for you to drink.
Oh, one of our professors that we had in seminary. I was at his house a few times. Walter Bowman. He drank Manhattans every day. It was cocktail hour, and he said if he were at the bar with Jesus, he hopes that Jesus would order a Manhattan. So I'm going to say a Manhattan.
He actually said that. Wow, that's crazy. I've never had a Manhattan. I don't know what goes into it. Is it some kind of vodka?
Is
it a vodka drink? What is it? What's in the Manhattan?
It's a whiskey drink.
Like a lager drink?
Yeah, there's I think it's bourbon.
Okay.
And there's like two other things. It's not, if you don't like whiskey or bourbon, it is not a good drink for you.
I do like whiskey.
It's potent.
It means what it's doing. It does not make any bones. It's not for lightweights.
I mean, it's the flavor, and then of course there's alcohol in it, but it's a potent drink.
Yeah,
it's a sipping drink.
It's a sipping drink. So, all right, now I'm actually extending this question 5.5, 5.5. Jesus orders a Manhattan. What are you ordering?
I would get a mimosa.
Ooh, that's playful.
Yeah, I like those. Those are good.
Okay. All right. Done and done. We'll put you down. And then the final question. All right. I want you to think about it as you answer it. It's going to sound silly.
No promises.
But I am dead serious with this question.
Oh.
Dead serious.
You said this was fun.
Dead serious. It was fun for me.
Oh.
If you could not grow a beard, or you were forced to shave your beard for ministry, would it change how effective you are as a pastor?
It wouldn't affect my ministry, but what I have noticed is when I don't have a beard, people treat me differently.
How so? Better?
Or worse? No, worse.
Really? Wow.
I'll be honest, I have done little social experiments with that in the past.
I want to give me some, you can't just say that, drop that, and then drop a mic and walk away. Give me an example.
I've dyed my beard before for ministry. I've shaved it for ministry. I've done all those goofy things where it's like, if we raise $2,000 for the food cupboard, I'll shave this half of my face. I've dyed my beard pink before, blue. I really liked it because obviously it's dark, so you have to bleach it. I really liked when it was bleached. It was all blonde.
Nice.
I felt I was blonde for about 2 days. It was nice. No, but I just noticed that when I have my beard, people treat me differently, and they tend to treat me better. I think I seem more approachable, which I would think it would be the opposite, because I think it was in Lapeer, I shaved my beard, and I'd been going to the grocery store, and I went to the grocery store and people knew me, but when I walked in, people didn't recognize me. And it was interesting how these people that I'd known for a couple of years, suddenly their whole demeanor changed when I walked in. And that's just as kind of a constant, and it's little things. But I think it does come down to approachability, which surprises me.
I want to thank Pastor Andrew Gookin from Rochester, New York. Irondequoit, I believe, is the specific little burb there. Thank you for answering my questions and for playing along.
Thanks for asking them.
Yeah, and hopefully it gave you a little fun something to do on a Monday when there's a lot of snow outside. Yeah, hopefully this is a good springboard. Hopefully other people will see how amazing you were and go, if that guy can do it, then sign me up. Because a lot of our friends are very competitive and they're going to want to one-up each other. So, so that's just a fact. That is a fact. So
wait.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Pastor Jeff.
Oh, that'll just make it quick, like here, edits. And you're welcome. Thank you. All right.